I think most people that have been like turning up for the chats and in the group are based in Australia, but there's a few. There's some people that are not. Yeah. So anyway, I thought we could have a little chat. I see some questions, like purely, like mainly focused on passive income, because you are the master of that. Plus, you have just published an ebook on the topic. You timed it very well, I must say. Did you have some foresight into what was going to happen?
It's all my doing, actually. This virus, I've been working on it for a while now. We planned a big global launch for the book. No, I should joke about it because it's quite shit. Yeah, no, timing's great. Also, timing's bad because a lot of people don't want to spend money, which I understand, obviously, which is why I don't usually do like a lot of discounts. But that's why I've kind of changed my approach to that. And I've sent the book to so many friends and people to be like, hey,
I've got a copy. Thank you.
You hated it. No, you loved it.
I haven't read it yet. It's on my desktop. Hard to get things done these days.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, weird timing. It's a weird time. Is everyone fully isolated in this chat, or like?
Yeah.
I am. Day 5.
I'm with my parents. It sucks.
Damn. I'm with Amelia, which is great. I mean, we are sitting close to each other. I'm used to working from home, so not a lot has changed for me, but now I've got my better half less than a meter away.
Look who I'm with. Dreamboat.
Hey, man.
Hey, man. How's it going, bro?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Thanks, man.
Cool,
yeah,
man.
Sorry, Jared.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't we start with passive income? How it's been working for you, because it's something that you've been working on and building up, for the past few years, from what I understand. So, what does your structure look like?
So in the book, I talk about a passive income system, which consists of passive income streams. And the only reason I started taking that seriously is because I knew my life was going to change dramatically with my partner moving to London and me also wanting to move to London from Sydney, because I, like spending time with her and didn't want to be on the other side of the world. But not having a professional network there, I figured I needed to do something. So I'm very knowledgeable about time-lapse photography. Decided to, instead of keeping doing YouTube videos, I would pour that into a PDF, call it an ebook, and sell that. Now, to do that properly, so you don't only sell when you tell people about it, but it's just, automatic machine. To do that properly takes a bit of work. But my sister is a bit of a gun when it comes to business science, is what it's called in Belgium. Her degree is a business engineer, and she sat down with me. We had a big session in Singapore when we were visiting family, and then a session in Sydney, and she showed me the framework for this whole system, using what I have and my social channels and all that stuff. And then it took me forever to build it, to set it up. A lot of trial and error, a lot of, how do I optimize my website when I'm not a website guy? How do I start a newsletter when I don't know how to write? How do you write an ebook when you don't know how to write? All that stuff. So to start from pretty much scratch and build all that took ages. But then throughout the process, documented everything, and now just over a year later, I've repeated the process with a new book. It's very meta because this new book is about what I just did, about how I've set up the system. So 5 income streams. The goal of the system is that it applies to everyone that is passionate about something. So my example, my passion, my niche, my hobby, whatever, is time-lapse photography. But I wrote it keeping in mind like 5 different people, one being a baker that makes cakes, one person being could be a travel photographer, another person, who else did I have in mind? A crafter, like someone that makes things in a workshop, macro photography, you name it, any niche that has a bunch of people around the world doing something, you can turn that into a monetizable, auto-monetizable passive income system using, firstly, digital products. That's pillar one. But for that, you need an online store and a website, ideally a newsletter as well, and some social media followers. So the book teaches you all these things, including how to build a social following, which I assume most of you know, because we're hanging out with Jared and Lauren. Where's Lauren? Oh, there. There's so many screens. I've never had a meeting this big digitally. So
sorry to spring it on you.
Pillar one, digital products, online store, and everything that comes with that to build that. So which platforms to use and all that. Then second one is affiliate programs, where you use, for example, eBay or Amazon or other sales platforms, and you talk about something, people look at that on the website, buy it, you get a percentage. Amazon pays out up to 10%. eBay is different. What else is there? There's other affiliate programs. Then there's referral programs, which is the third pillar, which is similar to affiliate programs, but a referral program is more like a mates or family thing where you recommend something because you really use it. So there's custom referral or affiliate programs. They're kind of jumbled together, but there's custom programs for everything. So I found out about a piece of software that they had a referral or affiliate program running that I wasn't aware of. And then I use that software all the time. I wrote about it. I've made videos about it, tutorials. I teach people how to use that in my workshops. And I was like, oh, I should, it's quite expensive. It's like 200 euros. I should ask this guy if there's a referral program. And he does. So he signed me up to it, made 10% of every sale that came through my link. Then we looked at it again. He's like, you know what, you're selling real well. I'll up it to 15%. And then the stats in my book, the screenshot, I think I sold him like 40 or whatever thousand euros worth of his software, which has made me, between 10 and 15% of that. And that just runs automatically. So this month in March, I looked at it yesterday. It's made me 230 euros or 230 US dollars, which doesn't seem like a lot. But say you've got 5 of those programs running, boom, and that's, it's rent. So that's just one of the referral programs. Then again, with the book, I've set up an affiliate program or referral program for that. So everyone that gets the book, the step one is signing up to become an affiliate so that you make 50% of every sale, which is the highest affiliate, one of the higher affiliate commissions. Then there's digital advertisements, digital ads, like, Google AdSense is one, probably most well known, but there's also Yahoo and Bing have a network called, I think it's media.net. And then there's other smaller niche ad networks that you can use, like Google Ads, that have different rates and stuff to implement on your website. Obviously, the benefit of AdSense is that it also works on your YouTube channel if you get enough views. So your website and your YouTube channel. You do need a lot of traffic to get money from that. I've actually completely disabled AdSense on my website because my traffic's not big enough. It's maybe 10,000 unique a month, and I decided that I'd rather advertise my own products on my website and not advertise other products that make me way less money. And then there is content licensing, which for photographers is very relevant. So there's websites. There's a bunch that I talk about in the book. Getty, iStock, Adobe Stock are some main ones. Getty and iStock are the same. Then there's subscription websites like video blocks and story blocks. They work differently. Then there's services that do stuff for you, like Blackbox, but they take another 15% of every sale. The reason I don't really go in depth into content licensing is because it's not my specialty, even though everyone thinks it is. But I'll also explain how I price things up when I do get an inquiry about, I want to use this in an ad or I want to use that on a billboard. In short, you just find footage on an existing website that is similar to what they're asking you for. you price that up for the usage that they want, and then you just take that price and put it on your photo, and then you negotiate and come to a price that is way different, because most people that ask about a license don't know the cost of licensing. And when you send them that quote or that number that this industry standard calculator throws up, they're almost offended because it's too much money. And then you gotta find the middle ground, I guess.
So yeah, I've definitely had that a few times. Clients
like
saying that number.
And, how dare you charge money?
But isn't it so funny that, like, the way you describe, finding a price is, you go online and find something similar and then base it on that. That's just what everybody does. And then you're like, who even came up with the price in the first place? Because now everyone's just like it's so weird how things are valued in this world.
Yeah, it is weird, but I also get it. And coming from that, having done more of that before I started doing all social media stuff, I get people hitting me up to do a post on Instagram for like $50. And I'm like, hold on. If I'm using like numbers, even if a small percentage of my audience sees that, compare that to a billboard, like whatever. I was like, these numbers don't add up. So yeah, a lot of change.
I cut you off.
So
what was
that's
the last thing you want to say?
I don't even know. But yeah, that was the 5.5 to 6 passive income streams that build the system, and the system is fully automated. So I'm in the final phase of completing my second brand now, which is the whole passive income thing, because I'll start putting ads out for it, and then new YouTube channel, same website, but new channel, and it should run automatically, just like my other digital products, which is fun.
Cool.
Cut me off.
I have a few questions based on all of that. So first question is, sounds like it takes up a lot of time. How much time do you think you're spending on all of this, and is the return you're getting on it worth it? Like, what percentage of revenue or income is coming just from the passive stuff?
The passive stuff right now, my last commercial job was the San Fran one, which was when was that, January, I think. That was a decent job, but outside of that, besides like 2 to 3 brand deals for my YouTube channel, including these guys, it's just a very comfortable hoodie and also a nice brand. There has been zero commercial work for a while now, which is normal because I moved to London. So, no professional network, didn't really announce it. So it makes sense. And to me, I made an active decision. I was like, I'm only going to do stuff that fits in with this passive income system, which the 2 key terms are scalability and location independence. I can write an ebook, I can do video tutorials or mentorships or coaching from anywhere. And besides the mentorships, those things are scalable. So I can, invest once and then have it build out. So the time-lapse ebooks in 11 months sold, I think 17 or 18,000 US dollars worth of downloads, which was 55% of all of the passive income. Everything else was different affiliate programs. In total, in 2019, it was 31,000 US dollars, which is quite a bit in Australian dollars. Yeah, that's almost 52,000 Aussie passively. Now, again, passively, when it's up and running, you heard me talk about everything. Now it's easier to start that, new ebook. I've got the framework, I know what to use, I know how to build it. So the launch was really quite simple. It took me most time to write. If I think how long it took me to write, probably like 10 days of, what am I going to put in there? And then you start writing, and then you fine tune it, and then you read it 100,000 times and adjust it and expand or do the opposite when you think it's distracting. And then you put it up there, make some content about it. So now the book sold, the new one, let's have a quick look on Shopify. So since launch about 2 weeks ago, $3,733.11 US from my online store, which is less than I thought it was going to be. On one hand, I'm like, passive income is relevant to way more people globally than an ebook about how to shoot time lapses. The thing is, what I forgot to realize is that the people that follow me mostly for time lapse, not necessarily passive income. So now I've got to do all this work, which I'm doing actively, which is, you know, talking about the book and showing reviews and making a new channel and different kinds of content about it. My blog's totally transforming. So now I've got to teach my existing audience that this is also relevant to them, and that passive income, yes, it is different from time lapse, but there is an overlap because you can use the structures from the system for your time lapse photography, for example, to make money. So, but you know, it's a long term game. Like the ebook that I published a year ago, without advertising, still sells as a bundle. I wrote two ebooks about time lapse. It still sells every couple days, which, you know, fully automatically. It's like 100 Australian coming in, bing, bing, bing. And I know it's going to be the same with the passive income as soon as the whole machine's fully running. And the whole machine is literally described in the ebook. So it's very meta. I'm documenting everything to maybe do a follow-up or add an extra chapter and then tell people to re-download it and be like, hey, this is what happened with this book. I think that would be an interesting thing to do.
Nice. Well, those are some pretty like significant numbers. So I guess the ebook is the number one. Your ebooks are the number one source.
Yeah. So I've got it's in the book as well, a little chart that I fill in every day with, like, because there's a bunch of affiliate programs and other stuff. And it's got a pie chart, and the pie chart is very much looking like a big ebook thing. But obviously that's because of launch. Again, the ebook itself talks about how the previous ebook launch one, and it shows you these spikes in sales from a launch, and then from going viral on YouTube with a video, a time-lapse video about a meteor. People discovering my YouTube channel, finding what I do, finding more, finding my website, getting stuck into that automated sales funnel, which is a newsletter sequence and all that. And then, yeah, that spike in views on YouTube directly led to a spike in sales of the book. But those spikes kind of make it hard to see how it's doing, you know, normally. But if anything, it's shown me the more active I am on social media, the more content I put out there, the more, you know, stuff I do, the more money I make.
So the reason like you've done so well with the time-lapse one is because you're an expert in that field and people know that you're an expert. So I guess for anyone that's in the industry at that level, it's definitely, you know, worth looking into an investment of your time into that sort of thing. But what about if you are not yet an expert at what you do? Is there still worth exploring some sort of idea there, or is it worth leaving that to the side and concentrating on a different kind of area of passive income first?
It depends on how much time and energy you want to invest. Everything good takes effort and time, right? If you don't, I mean, I'd be very impressed with the person that doesn't know much about something and then tries and sells a product about that. I'd be like, wow, that's ballsy. Good for you, I guess. But it would feel a bit weird. So obviously the book is aimed at people that know what they're doing about something. Doesn't mean that you need a following, but you need to know what you're doing about whatever it is that you create around. It took me a long time to figure out the name for the book, and I landed on Passive Income for Creatives, because even if you're not at the top, even if you're not the most knowledgeable, you can still create content that ties into that system. For example, if you have been throwing clay for only a year and you're making nice bowls and stuff, you still have a year's worth of experience, things that you've learned, people that you look up to, projects that you've worked on, gear that you use, and all these things you can turn into digital whatever. It could be blog posts, could be articles, could be videos, could be a little whatever, it could be your experience. But eventually you'll be able to write something of value that is going to be valuable enough for people to spend something on it. So that's the whole. I'd like to do a word search in the book and see how much value is in there, because all this is passive income, digital products, an online store is exchanging. It's people paying because it's valuable to them somehow, be it educational, teaching people a new skill, or inspiring people to learn new things, or distracting them, or just making them laugh, or having them waste time when they're stuck inside. Value. So even if you're relatively fresh to your hobby or whatever, as long as you can make something that is of value to people, you'll be able to monetize that.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Do you use, I know you use Patreon actually. I wanted to talk a little bit about Patreon, because that is, out of everything, out of all the options out there, for me, that's probably the one that I'm researching into the most at the moment.
Yeah.
I feel like that's somewhere that I possibly could
100%.
make a dent.
I think, especially for photographers, especially if you have a following on social media, but you don't necessarily need that. Patreon is it's my second biggest passive income tier, with almost 20% of my passive income in 2019 was Patreon, $5,884 in 2019, which was a bad year for me because of moving across the world and all that. I just wrote a long article about Patreon and how to start it and what to do, and I'll keep fine-tuning it, because I think it is one of the best things you can do as creative. I've been using it for almost 3 years now, coming up to 3 years, to give some context. And it's great. Yes, the fees add up. Eventually you're looking at, I think, about 15% when you have your platform fees, payment processing fees, and there's a third fee. So there are other alternatives. But I think to start out, it's great. It's very easy to set up. It's free to set up. It's a well-oiled machine, and they've got a great blog as well, which teaches you how to get started. What to do, what not to do, which is also in that blog I just wrote. And the whole reason I wrote the blog is because I know it's super valuable to a lot of people. But then the blog, of course, also talks about the book that I just wrote. So everything I'm putting out now is either leading to my time-lapse books or my other book. But yeah, Patreon, especially for people that make things or capture things in a way, amazing platform to set up a recurring passive income, because it's a monthly thing.
So it does sound awesome. I do have like a few little hang-ups, a few mental hurdles that I have to get over for something like Patreon. And I think probably a lot of people do. One thing is kind of like the optics of it, and a perceived maybe kind of stigma around creating something like that, and
asking money from your followers. Is that the problem?
Yeah, exactly. And I think we, on our morning group chat, I was talking to Lauren about it, and I just remembered that like a group chat like ages ago with a bunch of us in it. I think it was from one of our trips, and then someone discovered that someone else that we know had made a Patreon, and this was quite a while ago. And I remember like some of the response from the group was like yeah, it was like that. Like, what? He's asking his fans for money? Like, is he that desperate?
Yeah.
Like, that was the kind of attitude that I was reading from the room, and no one really pushed back on it. And so in my head, I'm thinking, wow, maybe don't do that, because that's what it might look like to people. And especially because, I guess that's it. It just feels like you are asking from your followers who are used to just having things free, and that's just the normal way of doing things. And then suddenly if you're asking, it looks a bit funny.
my hang up was, before I started, was why would I ask for money from my followers? I'm a business owner. I make money with my business. Why would I ask these people that like what I do for their money when it's my responsibility to make enough money to keep this going and to do what I do, right? So I was very much against that idea. Same reason you described, same probably thought that those other people had. And then I was at a YouTube party at the film school in Sydney, and this guy I met, I was talking to him and I didn't realize who he was at first. And then I found out who he was. He was this Game of Thrones review channel that I watched religiously. And he's a big YouTuber, you know, hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of subscribers. And YouTube at the time, I think I looked at it differently. But he told me one line and that changed my mind. I was like, oh, wow. So he told me, and this is in the ebook, this is in the big article that I just wrote about Patreon. This one line changed my mind about it. He's like, because I described these worries, I'm like, you know, I feel this way, like I'm thinking of it, but it's like, mate, you're looking at it all wrong. The only people on the internet that are going to give you money are people that just want to give you money. No one else is going to sign up and give you that. So the only people that you'll get to jump on board are people that really want to be on board. So it's a mental shift looking at this platform from I'm asking for money to you're giving people the opportunity to be more directly involved with you as the creator. You're giving people a different kind of access than just following you. And if you don't give them the opportunity, then obviously they won't be able to. But a lot of people are really, really happy to be able to support you in a direct way. It's the same way that people buy merch and never wear it, or they buy someone's book and don't read it. It happens all the time. It's about them being content that you give them this way of supporting you. Think of it as putting off post notifications, but a more extreme version of that.
That was a really, I like how you described it, Sam, because I certainly have a bunch of books that my friends have made and I have not opened them. And I do have, you know, band t-shirts that I know I'm probably not going to wear, but I just want to show that musician that I just ordered something yesterday actually, which is silly, you know, in this time of having no revenue coming in. One of my friends' bands, Ballpark Music, just posted, you know, our merch store's open. I was like, I'll get one. When only the essentials, like I can't get toilet paper right now, but I can get a Ballpark Music jumper delivered, and that's what I decided to spend my money on.
Well, you can use that toilet paper, I know. But yeah, it's literally a mental shift, and I think that's the first headline in the article I wrote is.
You know, I own one of Jared's super Aurora Cat jumpers, and we have your time-lapse book too, Matt. Emmanuel and I bought that. So yeah, supporting your friends, super fans.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Lauren.
And I guess that all ties into the importance of social media as well, because that's where you build that connection. That's where you if you're authentic enough and genuine enough, then maybe you do build up this community that there are some people there that will just support you because they want to, because they want you to see you continuing to do what you love doing.
The reason I started vlogging 5 years ago is because I knew I'm like a likable character and I've got a decent enough persona on camera. And I knew that what I made looks cool and people like consuming my travel video time-lapse creations. But I was like, if I can get them to fall in love or like me, I can do what I want. Could be a travel vlog, could be, you know, anything really. But the goal of that was to give something to connect to more than just content. It's this person that people like as a creator. Like I think you, Jared, are a great example. Like you've got such a fan base that is, you know, in love with you. And I'm just thinking about myself right now. You know, I'm such a huge fan of what you do and your personality and how you
fan base of
not sell yourself, but how you put yourself out in the world. You know, super humble, super creative, super hardworking, all that. And just think of think of a world without Instagram stories, where you can only post. Like Instagram stories have changed the connections between audiences, consumers, and creators, because it gives you the behind the scenes look. It gives you the just a completely different angle, and that's another thing that people just get connected to, which then leads to that building up that trust between the audience. I think that's what is monetizable from brand deal point of view, is the trust between you and your audience, or the love, not just the number or the engagement.
I'll just quickly check if anyone has any questions they want to throw to Matt, because I can keep talking about everything for however long. But if anyone has anything specific they want Matt to talk about, just shout it in the chat or turn on your audio.
Trying to fix his lighting.
Well, I'm gonna ask some more stuff then, if no one else is talking. Okay, let's just use me as an example. For example, I want to set up a Patreon. Let's say I aim to set it up this week, and the next hurdle to get over is, what do you offer? And I started thinking about all the things I could offer, like behind the scenes or little videos and things like that. Nudes, I already put them out for free, as you know.
Postcards.
Yeah. So I sent you one in the mail. But I start thinking about all these things, and then I'm like, this is going to take so much time, and am I even just better off just doing an actual job and making probably the same amount of money as I'm spending, recording all these things for people? Yeah. But I've started looking into it more. I saw one photographer that I like. Do you know Paul Ziska? He's like a...
Ziska, yeah, the Ice Climb guy.
Yeah. So he just made a Patreon, and I looked at his, and I liked what he did, which was one tier, which was a small amount of money just to get general behind the scenes, or like that's the one that if you just want to support them and you don't really care about what you get in return, that's the one. And then he set another level, which was a limited to 5 people, and it was like a online coaching thing, and that was priced much higher. That appealed to me more.
Do you remember how high that was?
I feel like it was $120 US or euro per month for the coaching one.
Yeah.
And it involved, I can't remember, like just a bunch of stuff, and having access to him, and like Skype meetings and things like that. I don't know what the limit was. I liked that because I thought that's a way to ease into this for me, because offering something like coaching to a limited amount of people, that doesn't feel like Patreon or asking for money or that kind of thing. That feels to me like a set number of people are paying this much to get this, and I think that's a fair exchange. I think it's worth my time and it's worth your money to do that. My struggle is to do anything in between that, and have something where I don't know what else you can offer that's in between those two things. I don't know what a middle ground kind of reward is.
You can make it as so I have so much to share about Patreon. First up, there's 2 types of Patreon pages from my point of view. There's the people that put Patreon out there as you can support me here, thanks for your support. A lot of big YouTubers do this. They have a Patreon to fund the YouTube creations, and they don't engage or act on Patreon at all. They're never on there, yet they have thousands of supporters. And the way that they've sold their Patreon page is strictly as a fund the YouTube channel, which is where all the buzz is, all the activity is. But they have no deliverables for Patreon. They just use it as a please support us. Here you can do so. Then there's Patreon people like myself and like what you're doing or thinking of doing, where you're going to get stuff out of this Patreon. Depending on the tier you have, you'll get X, Y, Z, everything. I think what Paul did is really smart. So a low monthly commitment as a support probably gets a ton of people in there. Mine start at 3, so $3, which I equate to, you know, a cup of coffee once a month. Cheers. Thanks to the support. I've got like, I don't know, 20 or 30 people like that supporting me on there now. And what do you get? You just get access to the Patreon page and to posts and Q&As and possibly live streams or early access to videos. And then you can go up in tiers. I'd recommend like 3 to 4 tiers. I got 5 tiers now, but one of my tiers is $99 a month, and it's kind of like a mentorship / coaching program where, you know, you can send me information or like projects to review. We do a monthly or more frequently, really, because we don't have anything else to do. Skype call where we talk about strategy and where it's going. So I've had 3 of those big tier guides. One still active, one left months ago because he kind of like changed directions. Another guy was like, all right, I now know what I'm going to do. I know what I have to do, and I have to cut my expenses. So he's like, it's been a great year and a bit. But now we're mates, and I'm like, dude, I want to know what's happening. So he was just in my newsletter. He made like a hiking documentary in South Africa, and he's now started his own Patreon page, which I now support in like on a mid tier because like the money I made going straight back into this big payment system. But the one guy, Dan, he's in Toronto and he's starting a new brand of content creation, and I'm coaching him through that, which is great because I also get to use that as a use case of like, this is how Patreon works, or a coaching or a mentorship program. And it's exciting because I can guide him through like a new thing with all of the knowledge and experience that I have to make sure that he doesn't make any mistakes. And then, yeah, hopefully it takes off. And it's really fun to be involved with. Plus, you know, I'm making money with it, but not like if I was doing Patreon for the money, it's like to get someone to give you $50 a month is like quite an effort. And then I'm like, that's one book sale, which happened. Like I get a book sale and it's like, but I get a Patreon sign up for $50 a month. I'm super excited. I'm over the moon. So there's this big mental difference between that money coming from Patreon or that money coming from a book sale, because that money is linked to a person, which is like an emotional connection, and you feel commitment and you feel obligated, obviously, to do this properly. But yeah, so sorry, I'm rambling. 2 angles. One is you can support me here as a creator, thanks. And the other is let's get engaged on this new social media platform. To start with, you should have, you know, think about your tiers. I think, you know, $3, $10 or $15 and $50, whatever could be interesting, or something else. I just coached my brother's sister. She's a DJ in Amsterdam. She quit her job right before COVID hit. Had, you know, because she had so many gigs lined up, all the gigs are gone now, has nothing coming in. So we had a big session about Patreon and we set up her page, which is now working. You know, she's got a handful of supporters. But when you start, you can kind of gamify the startup of this page by setting goals. So you could have, you know, my first goal was like, if we hit $50 a month, I'll do X. And they're like, you can show them on your profile. Like goal 1 is hitting $50, which gives people an incentive to sign up and support you. Also, I recommend, because you get the option. Yeah.
I think you're about to say the same thing, but what's your thoughts on whether you show the amount that you're making or not?
I'm all for transparency. So show the amount of supporters, show the amount of money. I've played around with it. I've had it disabled to show, and then I was like, why am I hiding it? It feels like I'm hiding something, which I am, because I feel like I'm hiding something. So I just showed it publicly.
That's my instinct. Like my natural instinct would be to hide it, because my thought process will be, if it's low, then maybe don't hide. But if it starts actually getting high, then maybe I lose the sympathy. People that you know, they're like, oh, he's, and I you know, because I probably think the same way. You know, if I was just going to go support someone just because I want to support them, and I went on their Patreon and it says they're making $10,000 a month from Patreon, I'd be like, you don't need it.
Well, then it's up to you to put up something on your tier as a reward that they still want bad enough to overlook that number.
Hey, Joan has got a question in the chat. Which income stream was the easiest to set up, and which income stream have you seen the greatest return?
easiest to set up probably Patreon, but keep in mind that I had an existing audience already, and an existing audience on YouTube, which is an audience that is used to Patreon. I think we'll see Patreon a lot in the future, because it is so easy to set up and free to use and blah, blah, blah. But the best return has been the ebook, because now that this framework exists, you just make a new ebook and plug it into the system and, you know, keep it going. Kind of adjust your marketing for it, but yeah.
In general, what kind of business decisions are you making now? Now that we're in this crisis mode, is there anything that you're drastically changing or having to look at a different way now that we can see that probably for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months, things are going to be very different?
Business wise, I'm doubling or tripling down on original content on my own platforms. So increasing the quality and the value of my newsletter, which has 3,100 something subscribers, and regularly posting quality stuff on my blog. Those two things, platforms that I own and control, are important, because I'm done fighting algorithms. We've all fought algorithms for so long. Fuck them. Who needs them? So that's a whole other thing the book talks about, is how to set that up, because the value of that direct line into someone's inbox, you know, it's crazy. I promoted my sister's podcast yesterday, a friend's new song, an article, and you can see how many people click, and it's way more than I get swipe ups or click throughs on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook even. And they're never going away. Like, these people, yes, people will unsubscribe, but they'll unsubscribe other stuff anyway. But the core that you keep, it's so valuable. So can you raise your hand if you've got a newsletter or actively building one? No hands.
I actively built one about 5 years ago, and then never sent out one email because I had the thought, because I thought, you know, I've got the audience. I feel like something will happen to Instagram, or like you can't control that. So the one thing I can control is having an email list. So I did a big promotion about it. I got everyone to sign up to this list, and I made it a reward thing. And one, you know, if you sign up to my list, one person wins the prize of me flying to wherever they were in Australia and giving them a workshop. And I did it, and maybe like 800 people signed up, something like that.
Nice.
But after that was done, I didn't really send anything out, because I don't know, I just got lazy and just got caught up with other things. And now that list is like 5 years old. I'll see if I can still revive it if I know my MailChimp password. And someone gets an email for the first time in 5 years.
Yeah.
But but that is something I will definitely try and concentrate on now that I've got all the time in the world.
A lot of people think of newsletters as like spam, or like, oh, more mail. But I have a few newsletters, same way that I've got a couple of websites that I visit every day. Newsletters that I really love, because there's a lot of cool shit in there. One's a crypto trading platform. I don't really trade in crypto anymore at all, but the way this newsletter is written is so satirical and funny, and it's an Australian company, and I think it's the founder of this company, and just writes it, and it's this word vomit of like the state of the economy and crypto, and it's very entertaining to read. And again, this entertainment is value. So you're asking for people's data, a name and email, in return for, you know, you're going to provide them value pretty much. Value. If you're just self-promoting, that's spam. That's not it. So give people something to subscribe for. Setting up a newsletter is a whole new book, but what it comes down to is just being smart. Obviously, ask your channels, but give them something in return that they can only get via the newsletter. Be it a workshop with Jared saying in the flesh, or, you know, I got one of my best, we got highest performing lead magnets, which is something you put out to collect leads, aka names and emails, is a PDF tutorial. Now, the information in this PDF, which was about hyperlapse, which is a style of time-lapse photography, that information was in a YouTube video, and that PDF download link was under that YouTube video. Everything in that PDF is in the video, yet still I got 850 email addresses and names from this one download because people wanted to download this PDF. And I'm like, but you've seen it. You know what's in the PDF because that's the video. And that's the fun thing. Like, you just keep making them, and every tutorial I now make, I write out in a word processor. So I have a script for the video. I then transform the script into a blog post. And then depending on what it is, I'll make it into a PDF that you can download from this page that is hosted by ConvertKit, which just generates email addresses. So when I started my promo for my new book, I had a like get started guide with passive income or whatever. Actually, yesterday I uploaded on my Shopify a free book now, which is a basic guide, like getting started with passive income, which is 15 pages. It's a super minimized version of the big book, but it's free. You can download it. So you download it, you give me your name and your email, and you can be damn sure that you rolled into a sequence that is trying to convince you to get the big book. And how's that sequence trying to convince you? It's just by giving you value, a lot of value. And people are like, wow, I'm getting this for free. Can't imagine what the paid version is like if this is what I'm getting for free. Super basic strategy, obviously, but.
Well, it's a good couple. We've nearly hit an hour, so just do a couple of things. Ellen wants to know, do you think it's going to be easier in the future to make money online because people are getting more used to it?
100%. If you look at the stock for the app that we're using right now, they've gone up 107% in the last, couple of days or a week. So many jobs where it wasn't possible to work from home. Now, because of a global pandemic, everyone's working from home. And that'll cascade and reverberate throughout the world in so many different ways. People are going to get more used to working from home and spending money online and spending time online and buying digital products, digital courses. I don't know how the travel boot camp's going to go. I mean, they can go to a digital online conference. Look at Adobe or all these other trade shows. Like, stuff's gone digital, which wasn't like that before, but now there's a necessity. And I think this pandemic is 100% transforming the entire world as far as digital platforms go and digital consumption as well. So yeah, I think it'll be easier.
Good stuff, man.
Sorry,
Super helpful. Oh wait, no, go.
For you. Is that okay? When you, I think beforehand you said that you had like two separate audiences because you branched out to, yeah. So have you created like different social media platforms for those two audiences, or are they all like together in that one group and just you have diversifying content?
I'm honestly still kind of trying to figure that out. So I've got my Instagram channels, I've got 3 pages. One is about my art, one is about the gear I used to make the art, and one is about me as a person. So I could turn the third one into this whole passive income stuff. But there's a stigma around making money online, and it is very, very easy to be lumped into a crowd of financial wankers. And I never want to be in that crowd because it's just me, and I'm just showing you what I did, right? What I do want to do is start a second YouTube channel with a list of content that I've got written down here, which are all the chapters of the book, just make videos about it. And all of that's part of the system, again, to get people to buy the book and maybe like a coaching course later or something of more of a bigger expense. But yeah, on social media right now, it's still just me as a time-lapse guy, and also look at what I've made. It's this new thing which is useful for everyone. Don't think I'm going to start another Instagram channel, and I don't think I'll implement the passive income thing actively on my existing channel because it's just, I don't know, it's so much work. I'd much rather spend that time on my website and my newsletter, where I spend time on both, and probably like consistently try and convince people that this whole passive income thing isn't like a scam or something fake, because again, there's that stigma around making money online. Make money while you sleep, you know, do these things and you won't believe what you wake up to, blah, blah, bullshit. But yeah, try convincing that it's real as we go along. By the way, I'll set up I'll set up like a 50%. Actually, hold on. I've got a discount code already. I think I'll just drop it in the chat if you guys want to check it out. Is that allowed, Jared? Am I like spamming now?
Chuck it in, man. And if you don't, I'll put. I've been recording. I don't know how good it is, but I'll put a link to that somewhere in the Facebook group. So if you want a me to put the code with that there as well.
Well, I mean, yeah. There's also an affiliate program. So Jared, if you want to post that link with your affiliate, then you make 50% of every sale. But then I can't offer a huge discount because then I make like $2. But no, I do think it's very valuable. Also, everyone that's
go the discount one.
Sorry?
Go the discount version.
Everyone that's everyone that's read it is just like, wow, like this is so motivating, and everyone just walks away with like, all right, I've started building a plan, and it's a range of people. There's photographers, there's like science communicators, there's YouTubers, there's people that like craft things. It's been really, really interesting to see the feedback, on that. So I hope that more people implement these things, because it's, you know, it can really change the trajectory of a person's career.
All right. Well, I've seen it. I saw you send to me my email, so I'm going to check it out. And who knows what my review is going to be like? Could be good. Could be not promising anything. I'm an independent source here. I'm not beholden to any interests. So anyway, I think that's all good, man. Just quickly, how is it? How is it in London? I think we're kind of all in Australia here.
It's great until the lockdown hit.
When did that?
We're having such a fun time. Like finally found like a nice group of creative people as well. Just hanging out, just lots of parties, lots of fun times. You know, summer's approaching, and now everyone's on lockdown, and it's like, I can't believe this. At least we're still going into summer, whereas the southern hemisphere is going into darkness and solitude.
Is that better or worse? Yeah, because I was thinking if it's like cold outside, then like you don't feel bad about staying in. But if you have to stay inside and it's beautiful weather, that might be harder.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway,
we'll see. Time will tell.
Man. I'm sad that we couldn't catch up when I was in London about a week ago.
Yeah. How was your trip back, by the way? Did you have any issues? I guess that was before stuff really went down, right?
No, yeah, it was just in time, I think. Trip back was fine. There was like, to be honest, out of like, I was in about 5 different countries when this all was starting. The only place.
Do you know where you are now?
I think I do. I think I'm in my apartment, locked away in a cage. Yeah, the only place that anything seemed different was Botswana, because we had to do. They did temperature checks. It seemed quite serious. They were like checking a lot of things. In India, there was like everything just took longer. There wasn't any like shift. But yeah, like people, yeah, it took a while for people to crack down and really change things. When I landed in the UK, which was only like a week ago, it just seemed like business as usual. No one seemed to change anything. And I came from Germany.
Yeah.
And that was one day before the lockdown of Germany. Like the streets were already empty. Everything was like really quiet. And then we got to London, and just like everyone was just hanging out. I was like, it was really interesting to see like different countries responding to it differently. And I think Australia is in the UK category in that taking a long time to take it seriously.
I think from what I can tell by the news and my social channels, it's about a week apart, Australia and the UK, and Australia is about to go fucking wild. So stay safe.
Will do, man. I got nowhere to go anyway, so just keep hanging out at home on my Zooms. Thanks, bro.
Well, thanks for having me. Thanks for listening. Appreciate that.
Sorry for surprising you in the morning.
I thought it was you and me, but I'm glad I had this fun audience to stare at.
Cheers, man.
Okay.
Super helpful, man.
Appreciate it. See you guys.
Thanks so much. See ya.
Thank you.
Peace.